So that's day 5 done and dusted, and on to day 6. Now, yesterday actually turned out to be a good day. I shot my video quite late in the day because, well, it was a Saturday and I was doing things with the family, so I didn't get a chance. Today is Sunday, Sunday the 2nd of June 2019, and I'm about to have some lunch, and I'm gonna head out into town with my daughter to do some clothes shopping and to go and buy her a watch. But that stuff aside, let's talk about how yesterday went and some of the things that I was thinking about when I was on the program. One of the things was about food, obviously, because I was feeling a bit hungry and a bit deprived because it was the weekend, as I mentioned in the last video. But actually, it wasn't quite so bad. I had these delicious banana protein muffins, and I'll be posting a recipe for those on this page at some point. I think my wife's making some of those again tomorrow, so I'm going to take some photos as she's doing it and then write it up. It's a recipe that she's kind of made from a mixture of different recipes, and they're absolutely delicious. They taste like a real treat. They're stacked full of protein. They're really good for you. And you feel like you've had something a bit naughty, and with my sweet tooth, that is a massive bonus from my side. So as you might imagine, to lose quite a lot of weight in a shortish period of time, a lot of it is about what you eat and calories and a certain amount of calorie restriction, but without feeling deprived. Now, the instant alarm bells that go off with any kind of very, very low calorie diet, or VLCD as the acronym, is that, oh my God, that must be really, really bad for you. Well, actually, they're not, and all the science is now pointing to the fact that actually they're not bad for you. They're actually very good, and some of them mimic fasting, which, as many of you may know, is very, very, very good for you as well. And there's a lot of emerging scientific research about how it helps with body regeneration. Also, if you're a guy, it helps you with muscle building and all those kind of things, but we'll talk about those in later videos. But that aside, let's talk about very low calorie diets and the initial findings behind it. And it came from a study with a guy called Dr. Vincent Felitti, and I alluded to his study in an earlier video when we were talking about trauma as a source of reasons for overeating in the first place, and how I explained that my early childhood traumas caused me to overeat for many, many years. Anyway, Dr. Felitti was asked to work out a feeding program for some people who were massively clinically obese, and we're talking 40, 50 stone people. And he hypothesized, well, you know, what would happen if we gave them 0 calories to eat? Would they just die? Would they be able to survive? Now, there weren't any studies being done on people who weren't eating at all at the time, because obviously that would be cruel and unusual and people would die and nobody would sanction that. But what he did have was people who'd been on hunger strikes, and specifically people who were part of the IRA in Britain, the Irish Republican Army, and the people who'd been captured as prisoners. Originally they were classed as political prisoners, so they were treated quite well, but later they got moved into the general population, and they protested by going on hunger strike. So he was able to look at what had actually happened to them and how they ended up dying or were force-fed to survival, but quite a few of them died. And actually looked at what was going on with them, and from a physiology point of view, and what made them die. And what he found is that, first of all, you're absolutely fine for 3 weeks with no food. Obviously, you need your liquid, but 3 weeks. And then your body and your heart shuts down because of lack of some key essential minerals like magnesium and phosphorus, I think was the other one. And that makes your heart start beating funnily, and then it can just go. So what if you give somebody magnesium and phosphorus, or whatever the other one was, as a supplement? Well, then they found that you were absolutely fine for up to 3 months. But after 3 months, the lack of protein meant that your body was cannibalizing your heart muscles, and then your heart again would give up. It's always the ticker that would go, which is strange, but there we go. I suppose it is the driving engine of our bodies. So then you hypothesize, well, you know, what would happen if you gave people protein? Well, again, they found is that people would survive for about a year, and then it would be things like lack of vitamin C that would kill you. So you'd get scurvy, that classic old sailor's disease from the 15th, 16th, 17th century. So his final hypothesis, well, you know, if you gave them vitamin C, you gave them protein, and you gave them the essential minerals as a supplement, how long could someone survive without ingesting any food? And the answer was potentially indefinitely. So that's exactly what he did. He put these guys on a 0 calorie diet. All they would have is water and maybe some coffee, a black coffee or black tea, but that was it, and that's all they were allowed to ingest. And he found that they were losing vast amounts of weight. So one in his study lost 200 pounds in the first year alone, and that's an awful lot of weight. I mean, that's basically almost as much as I weigh now, which is, you know, pretty incredible to lose in a year. And they found that this had no deleterious or bad, deleterious ill health effects at all over that period of time. But the issue was psychological. So people who lost the weight would then go out and put all the weight back on as soon as they were hitting target weight. And that alludes back to what we were talking about early childhood trauma, or trauma of any kind, really, being an instigator and being the fire behind the smoke that you see, and the smoke being the overeating and the problems with food. So what this showed was actually very low calorie diets aren't bad for you, and actually they are manageable. But it's, as with all things, it's kind of up here. It's in your brain and how you can manage it. So the key to any successful program, if you're looking for rapid weight loss, is finding a way to balance a low calorie and a decent high calorie deficit to get the weight loss that you want, with your brain going, hey, give me food, I'm struggling here, and the habits that you have as a person and that you developed over the years, and any deep or not so deep traumatic or psychological issues may have. So that's very low calorie diets, and that's what we covered today. Tomorrow what I'll do is I will talk to you a little bit more about how to manage that process, and perhaps we'll look at some other areas of dieting and psychology behind that. So I will see you in tomorrow's video. Thanks for watching.